What if I were to tell you that there is an entire network of people around the globe who communicate without any technology, without any cell phone, without any computer, no email, no phone calls, nothing, that they all communicate telepathically? That these people comes from all walks of life, from uncontacted tribes in the Amazon rainforest, through people from different organizations and even celebrities. That these people actually know and communicate telepathically with one another. Now, here I want to make sure I'm not suggesting that there is a network, that there is like some kind of community that no one knows about. I'm just speaking that there are currently people in the world who know and communicate telepathically. And how do I know? Because I am one of these persons. I have communicated with uncontacted tribes from the Amazon rainforest, as well as other indigenous groups. I've also communicated with people from different organizations at certain point on my path, and yes, there are also celebrities out there. And to be fair, sometimes it's confusing because I'm like, why is this person in my energetic field right now? What does he want? you know? And just like any other communication, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you, so I send them on their way. But all that to say that in today's video, we are going to be exploring telepathic communication. How does that look like? How can this feel like? And because it's going to vary from person to person, but also who's out there to talk to. So thank you very much for tuning in again to the download. My name is Izzy and welcome back. So telepathic communication, how is this even possible in the first place? First, we have to upgrade our mentality around consciousness. And if this is something you want to dive deeper into, I have made another video previously called God versus Consciousness, the fifth dimension explained. This is a really good stepping stone to even understand how is it feasible to communicate telepathically in the first place. In a nutshell, this dynamic is that consciousness is not something that is generated from within. It is actually a frequency that we pick up on. Therefore, there is only one consciousness that permeates the entire universe, and we only vary in the awareness of that consciousness. And what I mean by varying of awareness is you have a different background than I do, your life experiences are different than mine, therefore your interpretation of this consciousness is different than mine. But ultimately, consciousness is a frequency that permeates the entire universe. So once we let go of the idea that consciousness is something that's insulated, separate, and different entities essentially, and it is something that is actually unified, it's like a bandwidth that we are a human antenna and we operate from, then we can start seeing now that by surrendering the idea of our own identity, we can start actually picking up frequencies and start interacting with other awarenesses of that consciousness out there, because now we essentially moving away from experiencing consciousness from something from within, and we can expand our awareness of this consciousness outward into the world and start interacting with the world around us from a whole new perspective. So essentially, when we think of telepathy, we may think of, okay, someone is coming, like a phone ringing, and we see this person somehow, and or we hear sound. I'm not saying that it cannot be like this, but let's expand our understanding of how telepathy can feel. For me, telepathy, it's like if somebody wants to talk to me telepathically, I will start seeing an image with my third eye. And there may be some kind of words that become feels like it's repetitive. And it doesn't have to be a person. It could be a dinosaur from the Jurassic era that just want to say hello. Because, yes, once we open our channel to telepathic communication, it doesn't have to be in real time as, oh, this person has to be alive for me to interact with him. No. Once we open our awareness to this consciousness, we can travel in time and actually talk to people, beings, animals that were there millions of years ago, as well as also communicating with places. And what I mean by places is I can start having an experience where I see this planet flashing with my third eye, and then I hear these words, maybe like, oh, planet something, or there's like maybe a subject. And then I can decide, I can kind of feel in the energy a little bit to see what's the overall energy. Is there a lot of anxiety there? Is there a lot of anger in that energy? And if I don't like it, I may choose to not go further this energy and say, no, I don't want to interact with you right now. What if I'm like you? That seems a little groovy here. Like, I don't know what this planet wants, but it feels cool. Actually, I want to explore that further. So then I can choose to further immerse myself in this experience. And it's essentially like a dial that I'm like, okay, I am dialing in into this frequency deeper and deeper. And the deeper I go, the more that my third eye, like the images that I see from my third eye, start merging with my environment, like if I was in this place for real. And I've had experiences where I was on another planet, someone came and grabbed my arm, and I felt it. And the reason is because feeling, sensing, and what we experience are just electrical impulses in the brain, anyways. So when you start to go really deep into an experience as you're communicating with other worlds, beings, and whatnot, you take all of your senses with you. I've been places where I could feel, I could really smell certain things. I've been in other places where I could actually eat things and taste them. Even though nothing was going into my physical vessel, I was still having all the correct electrical impulses to give me that experience. So, as you see, it's not necessarily that just people are coming and you hear voices. For some people, it might be that they start seeing an energy, feeling, or they hear a faint sound, or they start feeling like an energy around their ear. And then they want to start dialing into that. And the more they dial into it, the voice start to get a little louder, and then they hear clear sound. And this is called clear audio. For me, it's a mix of sensing and feeling as well as visual. But for other people as well, it could be automatic writing. Like it's a way into they start connecting with their energetic vessel and they start moving their pen on a piece of paper and they just start writing. And next thing you know, they're actually channeling information. So, telepathy and the ability to extract information from our environment in a way that is not neurotypical. And this is essentially why too I associate my psychic abilities with being neurodivergent. Because yes, you can have a huge religious component if you're talking to angels like Archangel Michael or something like that. But to me, yeah, I can go talk to angels, which really are just biblical, biblical, biblical representation of certain archetypes energy, but you can also go spend time with a dinosaur from the prehistorical era and see and feel what it was like to live like them. I've also had telepathic communication with places like ancient sites like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, and I was able to see and feel why these people were gathering, why did they build this place, and what they achieved from that, and what was the aftermath of all of that. So, as you can see, telepathy is not just having a one-to-one conversation with one person. It's essentially extracting information from an environment beyond the neurotypical five senses. So how do we achieve that? The first thing we need to do is to start tuning into ourselves and feeling our own energy, because that might be unpleasant at first. And think about it this way: if you don't like sitting with yourself, if you don't like the energy that you're in when you're sitting down meditating, because there's a lot of stress and anxiety that are bubbling or repressed feeling, if you don't like sitting with yourself, you cannot expect someone to come from the other side, if you say, and come and interact with you, because they're going to feel your energetic field. And if they're all coming from a higher dimension, it's already hard for them to even squeeze themselves into this three-dimensional reality for you to perceive them. So again, we first need to clear our own vessel so we can attract awesome beings. And another thing to achieve that is quieting the mind and developing an awareness to our own energetic vessel first. So, if you're struggling with meditation and you're overthinking or whatnot, I have a course soon coming up: Easy Exercises for an Overactive Mind. And in this course, I break down different techniques to not only help you deal with the excessive thinking that comes when we first start meditating, but it also helps opening up our energetic channels. Another thing too, as we started becoming more aware and we finally quieting the mind, there's perhaps emotions that are coming to the surface that maybe we build too much stress or something like that. And so I have another course too. It's anchoring for emotional wellness, and it's essentially teaching, once you have opened your energetic channel, how you can flow this energy and this excess emotion into the earth. And not only that, it's also a stepping stone, and it's actually grounding and anchoring 101, which is very important if we want to be able to communicate, because we have an electromagnetic field. So the more present on earth, here on earth we are, the more grounded into earth our energy is, the easier, what do we say, the stronger our energetic fields become, and it becomes easier for other people to find us as well. So if, let's say, like me, I was struggling, I had some agoraphobia at some point, I was playing small, I was a little flower on the wall, I didn't like drawing attention to myself. Well, energetically, my energy was very weak and hard to detect because I wanted to erase myself. So you can see now that there are certain perhaps personal development things that needs to happen before we finally capable of interacting. Another thing too to take in consideration is we're not our subconscious mind is connected to everything, all that there is. So it's not even so much trying to connect with an object that is far away, is trusting that our subconscious is already in resonance with that object. And essentially, telepathy is allowing our subconscious to release more information into our conscious mind. And that is the basic of telepathy, is really allowing our subconscious mind to release more information into our conscious mind. So again, as we start navigating these energies and we start opening ourselves to that, our ego sometimes might struggle. Whoa, what's going on here? I'm not comfortable with that. And again, knowing how to properly anchor our emotions and be present and observe our thoughts and our emotion and stay calm in that experience will obviously lead to more experiences. Now, who and what can you expect to see and interact with as you are opening your channel? Well, see, the thing is, psychic abilities and the ability to tap into the unseen, if you say, it's not exact science in a way that Just as we project our inner energy out into the world, opening our crown chakra to other realities, if you say, is just a bigger arena to project our own unprocessed things and inner balances or unbalances. So essentially, if you start interacting with beings that are like quick temper, let's say, and you're like, wow, why am I attracting all these beings that are quick temper? They are still showing you something about yourself that maybe needs healing. And essentially, it's up to you to ask the question, what is it within me that is out of balance that makes me attract these energies, these weird energies in the first place? So essentially, the more inner balance you cultivate, the more the outer world will feel in balance to you, and also the more balanced the energies that come to interact with you will be. Now, in light of that, that may sound a little strange, but let's say we all have the ability to communicate with whales. We're fantastic. I had like amazing experiences with whales. They're like super scientists. Awesome. If the scientific community could interact with whales, we'd be like thousands of years into the future, no doubt. But here's the thing, you cannot jam an FM frequency on a AM stereo. And what do I mean by that? Is look, just like I said, whales are amazing. They know a lot about science. So, me, I used to repair submarines for a living. I know a little bit. I'm mechanically inclined, just to say. I understand certain principles like electricity. I have a little bit of chemistry and that sort of thing. So when I talk to a whale or a being who's super evolved in the world of science, they're going to be able to pass a little more information to me that someone who has zero background in science. Maybe there are an artist and they can paint, but what are you going to talk about with a being that is hardcore science? Another way too, if this whale were to talk to someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson, holy, like, wow, like, of course you're going to extract a lot more information about it. So essentially, likes attract likes. So you can expect to see beings who have affinities with you, who have similar values than you, who may also have similar struggle as you, and this is the essence of it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. For more content like this, please subscribe to my channel. And yes, you can subscribe as well on my website. I have www.download.com, and I have started a brand new newsletter that you can subscribe to. I only send a message once a week, and it has exclusive information where I discuss the energies of the week. So if something you would like to read about, you can just go to my website, scroll all the way down, and enter your email in the subscribe box. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you find this video informative, and talk to you soon.